Time's up for our new team, Even in Death, as they are 2 games down in this best of 5 versus Team Freedom. But they've put on quite the show.
They have. They have managed to put on quite the show, and I don't expect it to stop for game number 3. I want to, keep the tempo moving. But we said it at the end of last game. Game number 3. There's no way Cure gets Genji again, right? I mean, at least if he gets Genji, a lot of attention towards how do we stop Genji from doing Genji things, because the last 2 games, especially on a map like Tomb, to be as impactful as Cure was, it's time to pay attention to the pick. I expect it to rise a little bit for NA from what we've seen from these 2 teams. They kind of are like, Genji's okay, but I think Cure kind of put it on an argument as to why we've seen so much focus on him.
He's pretty good.
He kind of he's like good on his own, but then you take the fact that like he's extremely mobile and he can get a reset. It goes from good to great very fast for him. Well,
his mobility would be pretty great for the next battleground. Let's take a look at what it is. There you go. Team Freedom have picked Sky Temple. Even in Death choosing first pick here.
Sky Temple, Genji is out of, compared to the last map, this is a good map for Genji because the map objective wave clear is pretty much useless. Globals are relevant, but wave clear in itself, man, such a interesting view. It's something it will take a long while, I think, for me to be able to get used to this. Mainly just because not so much the lighting itself, but it's more the reflection it has on everything else, Everything's just a little bit warmer, a little bit cooler. Not even. Cooler would be blue. It's less cool. It's definitely more warm.
Cooler is in awesomer.
Yeah.
Radical.
Awesomer. We're sticking with that one.
Totally
awesomer, radicaler. Let's go, because we're going to Sky Templar. Here it is. Oh, man.
Even in Death has first pick, first ban.
Genji. Even in Death, the last thing I want to see from you is to go, thank you. I was going to go to 0 seconds and then Genji gets banned then. Like, you know what I mean? That slow hesitation. No way. Freedom showing so much respect to it even in this rotation. Wouldn't be surprised because of the map, again, that it makes him more first pickable.
I do feel like there's a lot of things that if they sort of force the hand of Even in Death, they might be able to try to manipulate in a way to get it. But is it too risky to do that? Do they feel like that's too risky to just leave it up?
I don't think it is, if I'm Team Freedom. If anything, let's take this from the better team mentality. If I am the better team and I want to learn about Even in Death, I leave Genji. I can outplay you. Like, that is just my mentality. It's just like, you know what? Especially 2 games up, now's the time to truly go, like, I want to get into your brain. I'm not here to prove that I'm better than you. I'm here to gain something from you. You actually think that Genji's worth it. Now I want to know, how good can you execute it? I get to see that here. The immediate response, so it was very expected on the side of Freedom.
Yeah.
So where's this move? I feel like it's going to be something Tyrael focus in this rotation for Even in Death.
Their name is Even in Death. Come on.
What if they go Protection in Death, though?
I will disown them.
And that's kind of what you have to do, right? Like, I mean...
No, I love that talent.
So you don't disown them. You actually go, no, I really like it, but you
have to change your name, though.
Okay, to Protection.
Protection in Death.
Okay.
It's going to be far harder on us to cast.
It will be. PID? PID? Don't know if that's an easy squad to root for there.
Is it Tyrael here?
I mean, they can wait on it because we haven't seen any teams prioritize it that heavily. It's just something came over me and said they're going to high Tyrael. Nope, Genji, Arthas and Abathur for that Genji. It's extremely powerful.
So good. Really excited to see Even in Death be willing to bust out Abathur here.
Makes Tahaka a heavy ban for Even in Death.
He's already banned.
Oh, you're right.
Taking advantage of Freedom's ban.
My yellow hue of lighting makes the top half of my screen more difficult to see. Another thing I will in fact have to adjust on Sky Temple with our beautiful lighting. Rhaegar Hover showing Okay, that makes a lot of sense. With the Genji pickup, heavy focus.
Yeah.
Anytime you see Abathur, it means that you want to very much all in with clones. Any burst healing, Uther, and Rhaegar, or Uther, Rhaegar staying at the top. Karzim is also there, but North America isn't necessarily #1 always going into Palm, and even when we aren't always, you know, hitting the Palm, which is half the battle. I mean, we saw at midseason ball how hard Karzim is to run.
It is difficult.
Literally one of the best supports in the entire world. Bakery made his name on Karzim, played it, missed one palm, and the whole game goes bad. Every other palm he hit, one palm missed, they lost the fight, lost the game.
Especially when you're with a Genji, because you have to have that coordination there with deflect.
Yeah, and you've got to also, it's just like, it makes it to where if you're facing it, if you miss that, like, you took what was countering a reset and made it to where it's like, not only did I stop an ally from dying, but I gave my opponent a power spike, right? That is why resets are so crazy, is because it's not just a individual power spike, because there's no individual scaling. I lost 20% of my team, and you gained literally 20% of your team. So when that one death happens, it's 120 to 80. That is insane, the difference, how fast I can reset, just because, granted, with Genji, it's a little bit different. It's only one spell. But Li Ming, all those heroes, it shows why they're relevant competitively.
Speaking of Li Ming, I'm so excited to see Li Ming here. We've got Greymane, there's the Tyrael. Things are happening.
They are. Last pick, though. I want the Morales. I know. I said it. I don't want Karzim here. If we see Karzim picked, I 100% hope it's Palm full intent to be fulfilling the role that we expect him to. But if not, if somebody dabbles and goes, what about 7-sided here? I would rather Morales. Take the Tyrael, use that as the bait, use the Abathur hat for the self-defense, allow her to walk around with a healing beam of life.
Not that she's played very often, but Hao Nguyen has not played Morales in all of Part 2. Although she is a rare niche pick anyway.
Yeah. All right, so I want it to be the Palm status. I want to see the whole effect.
That's a lot of coordination with the composition that Even in Death has.
Yeah.
That is an extreme amount of coordination. I'm excited about Li Ming Greymane, though. I like the draft of Team Freedom.
Yeah, they need another melee of some kind to keep up the beef of the front line into a double clone with the Dahaka gone. I mean, you could make the argument of, like, we need to go into a Falstad to get that Glover match. They're going to go with the Diva. More Diva here than I expected in this series. Freedom picking it up a lot. Don't hate it. It's got enough beef, got enough front line to be able to deal with what they need it to do. But it doesn't help set up the true carries of the composition very well, which makes me feel like it definitely at least left something to be desired here.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe it was the combo of Diva with Genji specifically that Team Freedom were liking, or if they're just feeling like they are a Diva team, and it seems like it is the latter. Will it be Nasmus playing Diva and then moving Cure back to a range, though? That's my big question. I see you looking at the screen, so I know you know.
I cheated. Yeah, it is. It's going to be Nasmus on the Diva, and then Cure then moves over to the Li Ming, and under these circumstances, so.
Makes sense.
It does. It's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to Cure on Li Ming. I want to know how that looks. I think anytime he's on a high-impact hero, I want to keep track of that. I think that's going to be a lot of the success that Freedom carries throughout part number 2 is how much they enable Cure. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that too, and I'm excited to see how Even in Death does with this composition specifically.
Yeah.
They have the Genji, they have Tyrael with it, they have a lot riding on the Genji. Let's see how they do. Can Even in Death, with their Genji composition, be able to win the game, or will Team Freedom close it out?
Will they be able to win the video game? It's a question we ask ourselves every time we queue up for Hero League, Gilly. Every time. It's a tough one. Tall tale. The struggle of the MMR gainer. Cure knows a lot about that, though.
That is true. So does Nasmus and Dansky.
Oh, man. Even in Death, though, Lutano is going to be on the Tyrael. Not going with protection or even in death at 1. Just going with the standard smite.
Purge Evil.
Purge
I guess
Evil.
that's their new name. It is interesting to see Battery playing Arthas here. And Lutano on the Tyrael. Again, more flexing from this team.
Shando's Clarity was the level 1 for Malfurion. Hold on a minute. Nice zoning route there coming out from Collusion, which, by the way, pleasantly surprised with his performance just this whole series, just so far. Collusion, role swapped, rising. You know, he's definitely been stepping up his game in the world of supports, but like that whole last series, he was actually, his roots were very much on point. Even that one right there was, it's well placed because early game roots aren't always for kills. Sometimes you're setting them to how can I deter the most amount of damage? And oftentimes that means not setting a route under a target. It's actually leading to where are they wanting to go, and then with the growth, how much can I zone off at once? And that's the second or third one that he's just almost perfectly placed.
Yeah, I feel like Collusion is one of the greatest examples of what this format of HGC can do for a player. Having that consistent practice, the consistent competition in HGC. Collusion started out and did it well with healing, but the playmaking, which is what Even in Death are doing, is they take out Li Ming for the first blood. But yeah, the playmaking was the part that has improved and grown so much for Collusion, and he has done really well. It was this Malfurion that really captured my eyes here, but even doing well on Rhaegar in game number 1.
This is going to be, I feel like, a huge test for Even in Death. They got the first kill. They've got an Abathur composition. As long as they do okay in the early parts of the game, which is what you would want to have happen for an Abathur comp. Hold on here. Nice knock-up. Lutano, they got pressure on the Zugrug. Howling Blast thrown down. They get another kill. This is everything that they want, as long as they don't get any picks off. This rotation is huge, and the fact that Freedom's committing all their members here and they're losing the fight while and Abathur side soaking?
Oh, they're starting to win now, though. They take out Karazim. They do a lot of damage to Even in Death. Team Freedom recapture this temple, and Anubarak's on his way back.
Yeah, that was, again, if they were able to hold there, I can see this being a game where Even in Death looks better than they did in game 1, and they look better than they did in game 2. And right as they hit the moment where their composition, especially with Abathur, post 13, that is the moment where Abathur comes online. I can see them doing okay and then just wiping one fight and losing the game again. Just because purely off of that, again, that freedom better mentality, I can just see that, you know, Even in Death doesn't have the skills to punish hard enough with the things that are working out, that even when an Abathur should turn a game, I can see Freedom just going, well, we're going to win this, we're going to lock it down, and not even give you a chance. But it's with Genji play like that, Homicidal, they just need to keep up the pace.
Excellent roots from Collusion, but paying for it with his life. Still, Team Freedom have bullied their way onto the point, trying to capture the rest of the top temple. Slight experience advantage, but it's nothing to call home about.
Abathur has the opportunity to move into a Mule at 7. Malfurion also has the opportunity to move in the Mule. Kind of. I'm going to say that with a good old asterisk, fat one, right behind that one. Because the last time I watched Swoy do that into a Genji Tyrael, they immediately Judgment X-Striked and they dominated them. So, Cleanse was the choice.
Snap pick of Cleanse.
But you could argue, well, most of the time, Cleanse isn't going to gain me much into this composition. So yes, I'm going to go with the Mule to match that of the Abathur. But nope, Collusion, not going to take the risk. Not like we saw with Swoy.
I wonder if it'll be, yeah, it is Mule. So not getting Needle Spine, Spatial Efficiency to do max damage off the Symbiote, but it is still Symbiote build with Pressurized Glands and Adrenal Overload.
It's one of the only reasons I can see Abathur justified as high priority as we've seen him on Sky Temple, because you're like, well, it's a big map. That's where Abathur should be the bomb. We've talked about time and time again the time bomb that is Sky Temple and why when the map just opens up fast like it does here, Abathur's actually weaker. So why do we still see him pick that high? A lot of the times it is purely off the argument. He does do well with the global pressure on Shrines 1 and 2, but it's that, you know, the opportunity to Mule and keep yourself ahead structurally enough that makes it actually worth it.
I love seeing this aggression from Team Freedom. They have the Giants. They've taken out a lot here in the bottom lane. The well's already down. The fort is very low in health, too. Even in Death trying to do what they can to fight back, but Team Freedom using this time, this understanding that Even in Death's composition is still scaling up to its power point. Oh, but Freedom don't take down the fort.
And the Mule comes online. So the Mule and the fort interactions here, the Mule does not out-heal the damage of the fort. It just flat out damage of the fort, or excuse me, the temple is faster than that of Mule. So eventually it will go down. But if you can stagger the shots or delay them long enough, it's just enough. The root there on Hami, the damage is not enough. Mecha down. And now this Mule, go to sleep. Good night.
That is not going to sleep. That is breaking down. He is being salvaged for parts.
For the next one in a couple of seconds. Mule used to, do you remember Mule used to have 100% uptime?
Yeah.
No, it's you know, Mule's seen some weird changes in Heroes of the Storm over the long run.
He's seen some things.
It used to be there. I'm gonna let people at home know this one. There used to be a time when Mule was the go-to on any talent tier, on any support. You would pick Mule at the talent, purely based off the vision it provided. It was when they changed it to where you couldn't cast it into areas you didn't have vision that they're like, nah, no longer Mule. It was essentially like clairvoyance, but it could heal buildings. You're like, yeah, I'll take that.
Dual purpose.
Yeah. You're like, wait a minute. I can 100% of the time either see an area on the map that they have to kill us, or I can heal up my buildings, which, by the way, I used to heal them even more. It's just, man, Mule's been abused. That's what I'm learning now. Looking at the iteration we have today, he's just a saddle robot trying to keep his buildings alive.
It's like Wally. Dread, I think Even in Death might be your favorite team. Instantly palm pickup.
Snap palm. I'll make you a deal. If Hao walks in and at least 3 palms are properly timed and procced, I will be. I'm sold. I'll go full Trick. I'll even buy a jersey. Trick said if they go bye-bye, I'm willing to go for that.
I need palms.
I need this in the very first, because then Hao's gonna no life palm, and then he's gonna just be like, Dread, I had 3 palms this game. Please.
Get my jersey.
Get my jersey.
Maybe a possibility for a team fight here, but so far D.Va hasn't been keen to leave top. Now she's starting to make the rotation.
She's been holding back the experience of Abathur, but if you're holding back the experience of Abathur, you aren't really doing a good job. It's really kind of how you would view it, because you need to be beating Abathur's face into the ground in these stages of the game. And you do that through grouping, deathballing, and taking structures. They have done a little bit of that through mid and bottom. That was why the posturing you were referring to before, seeing that aggression and how you liked it. I love it too. It makes me sad that it takes Abathur compositions to see a team confident enough to posture 4 versus 4 around the fort. And I hate to break it to you, Gilly, the fort still did not go down until the altars were up. But you are right. It at least is a step towards that offense, never letting up pressure.
Pressure's back on because there are temples available, Even in Death. Fighting over the mid temple. Team Freedom not wanting to trade out. They really want to fight it out, especially since they do have that slight advantage in experience.
It's all going to come down to Clone.
Army
is dead.
Sank.
Clone is there too. They go in. There's a lot of damage. There's fireworks everywhere. But Team Freedom just goes, our health bars are near 100%. Your cocoon is down. 3 of your heroics are down. No, it's 4. And you didn't get a single thing. Meanwhile, it cost us a cocoon and a cursed bullet.
Yeah, the cocoon taking out Genji 2. Twilight Dream starts the destruction. Self-destructs there too.
Battery is trying to get the retreat. Hanwing walks by for a heal. Still has Palm available, but there's no way, even if the Palm hits, that Even in Death can win this fight. They forfeit up more of the shots. They can't transfer on the bottom, but they will. It'll just be a bit too late. When they make that transition, that fight should go over to Freedom as well, because Even in Death has to time their cooldowns perfectly if they're going to win these fights.
They used a lot before. You saw the Sanctification trying to enable Dragon Blade 2, but Cocoon is going to be a problem for Even in Death.
Cocoon. Turns out it's a really good spell. Did you know that, Gilly?
I did.
Did you? As you can hear, that's oh my! Battery is already just slaughtered. The clone is there, but with 2 members of Even in Death dead, I mean, the best thing they can get is this. Oh, collusion. He got the reset, and he's going to be out. At least they got a pick.
They did, but they will lose.
Doesn't count. I'm just flat out calling self-palms. Straight doesn't count. There's no world where that is 1/3 of my 3. No world. What is it?
Oh, they started the boss, but don't feel confident. A lot of low health bars, want to get the temple, trying to figure out what they want to do. Freedom of Steel Giants instead, get the temple.
Be interesting to see the impact that Cure has on shot calling and stuff. No, we're going to have to ask him about that. I want to know more about the impact Cure has towards the comms specifically, but especially things like drafting and shot calling, because Cure's a weird case when it comes to North America. Because he's coming through as like, I can mechanically play the game really well. Yes, he has 1 dorm. But again, that is a collegiate tournament. That is nothing compared to what he's experiencing here at HGC. So does he come in and he leads when it comes to strategic value, when it comes to decision-making within the draft itself, or it's purely just in-game, like I'm there to press the skills in the right order and kill things on Genji, things like that, you know? It could really, if he does have more influence than that, and he has influence on the draft, the decision-making and such, this could be a new era for Team Freedom.
Yeah, he obviously also shot called and drafted for the dorm team too, but as we see with a lot of teams, when you want to play that mechanically demanding style of gear, you also don't necessarily want to be shot calling. You want to be, focusing on your mechanics. Freedom are going to go for the invade here. They are so close to 16. Sanctification has been dropped. So is Cocoon. Homicidal's taken out of the Cocoon, but just to his death. 1 for 1.
Now 1 for 1, even in death. Oh, battery with the palm there by How to Win. He will not make it out. Cure just reset on reset, throwing the repulsion over the wall on top of it. We've got ourselves a boss play now, Gilly. Don't think they're going to wait any longer on this one. They move right on over and get it started.
So the boss to push down bot key. But also 2 temples.
Yeah, the 2 temples. So this is one of those situations, if you're perfect min-max, you wait on the boss about 5 more seconds, 10 more seconds in a dream world, because your opponents don't have 16. If they're 16, then you're afraid of the holy ground. But you wait it out. You cap now. You take vision. You just double take shots. When they stop responding through bottom, then you end up collapsing up through mid. You finish those off, then you cycle through top. You're like, I have every single shot in every single part of the way. I knew where all 5 members of Even in Death were. It's just no way around it. There it is. Now, again, they captured the boss, so this is about 10 seconds too early of free defense. When this stops, Greymane cycles down. This is going to be so pretty. Please, please, don't make me look like a dingus. Greymane, I needed you. Greymane?
Nope.
They're forfeiting on mid then. They have to. Nice. Holy ground. Trying to zone it out. Sidewall's killed. So they just forfeit mid shots instead. Greymane finishes, then gets the collapse.
Yeah, they'll go back in.
Yep.
They still have everything but Wave of Force. That'll be back up in a couple of seconds. Now Dansky comes in. It's time to do battle.
It is time. Look at Dansky. He's getting punched by Hound to Win. He's going to get traded.
Oh,
he drops the self-palm. He just killed him. Twilight Dream ends up getting the 1 rebuttal kill now. There's Frozen X. That's a clone Karazim. Not something you see every day. Hound to Win goes down. Another reset. Lutano and Battery. I don't think they can make it out. But what? Just that rotation from Dansky. Zero respect for the Wolverine skin.
Good point. It's all about the Wolverine skin specifically. Last few shots.
Forget about the top shrine not being captured all the way. He got off half a second before, so the last burst rotation didn't go into his favor. Which is why you're sitting there going, hello? Yep. Don't mind it. Does that, okay, let's perfect. Does leaving this altar help any team? And if so, who and why?
maybe... Maybe even in death, because they can wait longer until trying to get 20.
Yeah, so it is weird. You are right.
It is weird.
You are right. It's one of those windows where, because the objectives spawn off, for anybody who doesn't know, objectives spawn off of the end time of the last one. So those last couple of shots you saw Genji took started the clock onto our next cycle, right? So waiting that out would actually benefit even in death. They're going to be closer to the 20 breaking point faster than they would have before. But yeah, you are correct. I wasn't saying as in like, look at this is beautiful. It's more of, you know, this is technically hurting Freedom, even though they're letting it happen onto the map, because the objective now will spawn a little bit later, according to however long those shots of Dansky's rotation down, which is debatably a minute and a half. And if that minute and a half is the window, even in death, needed to hit 20 spike, you're going to be feeling bad, man, around that moment that you have to fight 20 into 20.
But there is going to be so long that Freedom have 20. I would, in theory, think that they can do a lot with it.
Unless they time that to cycle around where they hit 20, and that was the only way they would have been able to, would it help Freedom? And I personally thought that Freedom would have already hit 20, but they're sacrificing so much XP on the map because they're afraid of getting caught that I just don't see a world where that actually aided them more than it hurt them. Because you gotta remember, that was into an avatar.
No, I definitely agree about that. I'm just saying, the sooner they get to 20, they still have a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I agree with you about the tempo.
It just seems so weird that they would be the ones who are okay with that. Into the avatar here.
I think mainly it was like a accident.
We're wrong.
And then...
It's 20, and they just hit 20, and the shrine just spawned. They're geniuses.
Nice.
Prodigies, actually. Dansky, split with the Holy Ground. Bolt,
Twilight.
Look at Tyrael. He can't even do anything. The palm's there as well. A bit of counter momentum, but look at that. So much damage. Mech's not even needed. Every time Freedom just hits a point where they get bored with this game, and they're like, okay, we can end now.
In that case, happened to be 20. When Collusion got Bolt, Twilight Dream, victory is imminent for Team Freedom.
Team Freedom. Experienced legends. The foresight, unlike any team in North America after that last altar movement that I saw. They're going to win this series. They're going to take it over even in death. 3-0. Clean all the way through. Very few moments where it felt like they didn't have it. And a lot of diva. That's about all I learned from Freedom, is that they are really on the diva hype train, and it turns out Cure is still as good as the video game as he was in the first phase. That's what I got.
Cure is Reset City.
Yeah.
Population Cure.
Yeah, exactly. He's the mayor of the Reset City, walking around with all his minions, letting him know. He's like, yeah, I'll get the reset soon. Hold on, boys. Whew. I liked it. That was a nice change for Freedom. They still suffer in the same departments, it feels like a lot of North America does, at least so far. But we can only hope that that will change in the long run. I think that's the responsibility of teams like Roll20 and Tempo Storm more than it is Freedom to identify it.
It was nice to see Even in Death come in, play a few different styles. So be willing to play some different styles, not only play what has worked for them maybe in scrims, what's, you know, what is objectively good even, but in the change, the adaptation was nice. It's just a matter of being able to execute on those things.
Completely agree. Like I said, I would much rather see that from them. They play 3 different styles that are all very meta, or at least you can understand the thought process according to the meta.
Yeah.
And then you're like, it didn't work out. But I mean, that's one of those things. That's trial by fire. They have to do those type of things here. They are going to have to endure that, like Freedom did. It feels like in part number 1, except for the rare occasion where, you know, they had some of the highest performances they ever had. But for the most part, all of our newer teams here have to go through that. So this is just day 1 for Even in Death, but a good one for them.
They play Tempo Storm on Sunday, so we'll have to see how that works for Even in Death. But looking now at Team Freedom, we have Zugrug on the line. Hey, Zugrug, congratulations. You guys got a 3-0 victory over Even in Death. How are you guys feeling with the adaptation bringing in Cure?
Thanks for congratulating us. It feels good getting that 3-0 to start off the season, and I think Cure has been a really big addition to the team.
What is he involved with as far as things like drafting, shot calling? Where does his involvement lie with the team?
We do like team shot calling, so everyone contributes, and Kier's contributions to shot calling have improved us a lot, I think. And he adds a bit of input into draft as well.
Awesome. Dred?
That's awesome to be able to hear that from you guys. And I mean, today's games were, I feel like, as expected against a team like Even in Death here. So more of what are your guys' goals for yourselves personally as a team? Like, what do you guys set for yourself now going into phase number 2? What do you want to make happen? Not only just in terms of maybe results, but just play styles.
We want to be like more aggressive team, because last season we had a lot of like play for 20 Nazebo comps, but we want to be more aggressive, and we just want to be top 3 and make it to all the lands.
All right.
Talk to us about the diva. Where do you guys place her, and how powerful she is? Did you have that specifically for this series, or is it something that we will see from you guys going forward?
Nasmus loves diva, so when we can draft her, Nasmus like, all right guys, diva game. Just every draft is a diva draft.
Well, it worked out for you guys this time. Congratulations again. Any shout outs before we let you go?
Shout out to Team Freedom, all of our fans, and my team for just carrying me.
All right, thank you, Zugra. Good luck versus No tomorrow.
All right, thanks.
Shout out to my team for carrying me.
It's always a good day when you can say that about your squad. It means more. It means more than just for an individual player, even just a team perspective. If you feel like you're like, guys, thanks for putting me in the backpack, because I not only do you maybe need it that day because you just can't perform, but it's just to be able to see a player be able to say that about his team. I think it means a lot for the mentality of Freedom moving forward.
Team Freedom and No Tomorrow get their first victories in Phase